What's going on, everyone? Welcome. Welcome to Home Build Workshop. Welcome to Wednesday Live. Hope you're all doing amazing today. Right on. Right on. Let's see. Oh, man, you guys are here early. I like it. That's awesome. Scott's here. Scott says won't be in the live. Have a meeting. Oh, I'm sorry about that, Scott. We're going to miss you. He says thought I would connect early and say hello to everyone. Right on, Scott. Well, I hope your meeting goes good. Hopefully it's one of those good meetings. I don't know if there is such a thing, but anyway. Sam's here. Sam says hello, everyone. Don't forget to set the live. Oh, you got it. Let me do that. We're doing that. Live chat. There we go. Bam. Paul's here. Paul says, good morning all at work, but sipping my liquid life from my cup. Hope everyone is doing great. Speaking of liquid life, all is well in the world. Liquid life for me too. Let's see here. Let's get situated. I need to be able to see the chat while I can see the other thing. So let me get that situated. Got that. We got that. That goes over there. Like so. That goes there. There we go. Perfect. Right on. So what's everybody up to this fine Wednesday morning? It's a little cooler here than it's been. It's still, well, now it's finally above freezing, but we've been spoiled with like mornings in the 40s, and today it was like in the 20s. It felt kind of cold, but that's fine. It's nice and toasty here in the shop. Got some hot coffee. We are good to go. We are good to go. Paul says, waiting on my cookie delivery because I need the diabetes. Sam says, if one of us doesn't remind Jeff, he'll never remember. Yeah, I mean, once in a while I remember. So, you know, once in a while. Sam says, 4 Celsius here. Oh, not bad. That's about where we're at, roughly. Yeah, cool. Right on. So what's everybody working on? Projects in the works. Did you see the video last weekend? The introduction to the project? Well, you guys have known about it for a long time, but I figured I'd shoot that video and kind of kept it somewhat simple because, like I told you, I have to learn a new video editing software, and that video was edited on it. It's not 100% where I want it because there's so much new that I'm learning with this new one, this new software. I've got the second episode of this build done. Well, I've got it filmed, let's put it that way, where we made the neck, which happens to be right here. And now I'm working on editing it, but it is a slow process. You wouldn't think that learning something like a video editing program is that much different, but what I found is there's so much. I've been using this other one, the old one, for, I don't know, 15 years or something, 12 to 15 years, and everything is muscle memory. I have keys remapped on my keyboard so that it's just, you know, it's quick. Everything's quick. And with this new program, yes, I can remap keys, but I have to learn which ones do what before I can remap things and kind of pick the pace up. It has been a slow process, but we're getting there. We're getting there. I don't know if I'll have this one ready for this weekend. I'm going to try, but we'll see. But yeah, check it out. Check it out. Here's the neck. This is the actual lefty neck that's going to go on this guitar build that I'm working on. So it is all done. We've got the truss rod, carbon fiber rods, everything is installed. It is ready to go. This is right off the machine. I still have some final shaping because I leave material on here. I leave it a little bit thick. I want to go in and, you know, do a little bit of final shaping and the sanding and all that. But fret slots are cut. The fretboard markers are in, as well as the side dot markers. Yeah, see what I did there? And I got to make a jig so that I can laser engrave the neck. I might still burn this one in, but I want to do laser engraving on the back. So there's still plenty of stuff that I need to do to this, but we have it machined, which is pretty awesome. Yeah. Now I got to get the video edited. And like I said, that's just going to take some time. Let's see. Victor's here. Victor says, good morning. Good morning, Victor. How are you? Right on. Dashly Dave, sup all? What's up, Dave? How are you doing? How's this fine Wednesday treating you? Let's see. Robert says, howdy, people. Hope everyone's doing well, staying safe and healthy. Robert, we're doing good. How are you doing? Good morning. Sam says, I'm working on a Linux computer build. Oh, moving away from Microsoft due to all the ads and tracking across websites to get shadow profiles of our activities. Yeah, I have tried Linux. It's not for me necessarily for my main computer, but yeah, absolutely. I totally get it. In the latest version, I think, of Ubuntu that I tried, actually looks a lot better than years ago when I messed with it. So I think that'll be pretty cool. And Norman's here. Norman, channel member, says, hello, Jeff. Early, but made it. Looking good. Right on, Norman. Right on. Welcome and good morning. Paul says to Sam, which distribution? Congrats. I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid any longer. Yeah, if I was, for some reason, had to switch over, I would go to Ubuntu, I think, myself. I'm not a Linux person necessarily. I don't like command line and that sort of thing. I just don't know it. But I think that's what I would go to if I had to switch for whatever reason. Right on. Very cool. That'll be quite the project, Sam. Quite the project. There is that learning curve there. Well, at least for me it is, because I don't know all that stuff already. Paul says, friends don't let friends use Microsoft. That's what I say about Mac. No, I just can't get into them. Sam says, I'm getting LMDE 7. I don't know what that is, but sounds cool. Right on. Yeah, so we got the neck roughly done. The first step. This is the lefty. This is the one that's going on the guitar. Bum, 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 bum. But I've been fine-tuning the body a bit. Bam! Right here. This one's actually hot off the press. This one I just finished carving this morning. I was out here early, had the machine going because I wanted to have this ready to show you. So far, so good. I think I'm liking it. A couple things I need to look at. Some of the settings for carving the belly contour here. It's not as smooth as I would like it. Oh, and also, last week I said I was waiting for pickups. Guess what came? Not long after we finished the live last week. These are kind of hard to test fit because I don't have the wiring routes cut. That's going to be pretty cool, I think. Now, the actual one is not going to have this sort of squared off ear. It's going to have more of a triangle shape ear because that's what these pickups have. If you can see that. It's kind of got a triangle shape. So I have the triangle built in to the actual file. This one I'd already cut. I already had it designed. And then I realized that it kind of looks weird. So I made that fit the ear on the pickup. I had a little mishap down here with the string through holes and ran the shank of the bit down into the material. So I got to fix that in the program. Also, I need to fix the neck pocket. The radius on these two corners right here got a little out of whack. I don't know why, but it doesn't fit. The width is good. If I can work this in there. You probably can't see that very well. If I get my head out of there. You see how the radius of the corners is bigger than an actual neck. So I got to investigate my G code for that and try to figure out what went wrong there. But yeah, it might come down to just the bit size, but I don't think so. I don't think it is. I don't know. But a couple things to fine tune on the body, and then we'll start cutting on that. But it's getting there. We are getting there. Kind of cool to have the actual neck already done and right here ready to test out. Norman says, well, there's a lot on YouTube for you to learn and more with CNC and art. Either Linux these days. Oh, I got you. Yeah. Oh yeah, there's a ton. I myself am just not interested in switching operating systems at the moment. Doesn't mean I won't be later, but right now I'm not. I got enough stuff that I'm trying to learn. Trying to get this figured out. I'm trying to learn a new video editing program, which so far I'm really liking. I just have barely scratched the surface with how to do things, and I'm trying to figure out some of the ways to speed up the process, some ways like I used to do it. And yeah, it's just going to be a learning curve for probably several videos before I feel somewhat comfortable. Paul says, I have 2 Windows machines, old Mac minis running Windows 11, just because I need them for work. Oh yeah. It's crazy that you can run all of these different things on all these different operating systems. It's pretty wild. Robert says, I tried Ubuntu a couple times, and it's neat. Just had difficulty finding programs and apps to run on it. It did have some neat games that I liked at least. Yeah, that's the, I don't know. There's free versions of almost everything, and especially nowadays, it's pretty wild. But some of them are kind of cheesy. Some of them are pretty good. I don't know. I know what you mean. Sen says LMDE. Oh, Linux. Oh, Mint. Oh, so you're using Mint. Okay. Version of Mint based directly on Debian, stable rather than standard. Oh, yeah, I don't know. Paul says, I have 11 machines running Linux, all Debian, no variation of it. Right on. Norman says, I have ADHD, so it's easier for me to be into a lot of things. I'm into a lot of things too. There's just some that I haven't decided to dive deep into. So I was thinking maybe there was some sort of a conversation to be had in, like I've been talking about, I've been learning a new video editing program after using my original one for, I'm trying to think, I probably used it since 2011, since I first launched the video. Yeah, that's 15 years. And now I have to switch. I'm trying to think, maybe you guys can help me, where there's maybe a conversation in there somewhere. Like, how do you all handle stuff like that? When you come across something along those lines, speaking of, like Sam, switching operating systems, it's the same kind of thing. You decided to go ahead and switch that. Well, now you got to learn a lot of this new stuff. You learn the ways these different operating systems work, and like, how do you guys just jump in and what's the word? Just kind of, fumble through, I guess, until you learn more and get more comfortable, because I know it takes time, right, to learn a lot of this stuff, whether it's guitar building, whether it's programming your CNC for guitar building or for anything. It all takes time. Being able to design this, it took a long time to learn, to get proficient in the software. And really for that, I just jumped in and started a little bit at a time, a lot of practice and stuff. And I know that this switch to a video editor is going to be the same thing. It's going to be slow going for a while. It's going to be a little bit maybe frustrating because I don't know, well, how do I do whatever? You just learn things. Like, how do you guys approach something like that? I'm going to guess it's fairly similar. You just jump in and you learn what you need to know as you go. But I'd love to hear what all of you think and how you handle things like that. Learning a whole new thing. Let's say you wanted to, I don't know, I'm just making stuff up here. Let's say you wanted to learn how to write code. I don't know, to build an app or something. Where do you start? I tend to start for this kind of stuff with, as was already mentioned, YouTube, right? YouTube is a great resource. I'm working slowly through a 5 hour long YouTube video, uh, working through this video editor that I'm using now. And I've barely gotten into it. But yeah, yeah. What do you guys do? Let me know. Robert says, I run Open Office on my systems instead of the Microsoft. Yeah, I don't have Microsoft Office anymore either. Once they went to the subscription stuff, I'll ditch it. And I would ditch about anything that wants me to go to a subscription program. Microsoft goes to a subscription program somehow, I'll be switching. I'm not going to pay subscriptions. I'm very anti-subscription for anything. Sam says, try the idea of seeing if Google AI can formulate the electric guitar measurement and design to see if it can match your professional experience. It would be very interesting. Oh, that would be interesting. If I asked AI to design a guitar, I don't know if it could get that deep with like dimensions and all of that sort of stuff. Maybe that'd be kind of interesting. Norman says, neck deep and learn faster. Yeah. I mean, I don't know any other way. I mean, I'm sure there are actually other ways, but for myself, I know that I got to just jump in. Like I've mentioned it before. It's been a little bit, but that I've wanted to switch editing programs. You know, the one that I was using used to be owned by Sony. It was called Sony Vegas once upon a time, and I feel like at that time it was actually a pretty good program. Well, I guess Sony sold it off or something like that, you know, quite a few years ago. I don't know, a handful, 5 years ago, 10, 8 years ago. I don't know when exactly it was, but they sold it off. To this other company called Magix with an X at the end. And Magix, from what I think they're a foreign company, Europe somewhere, Germany maybe. I'm not really sure. And they tried to keep developing it and keep the program alive. And I actually purchased an upgrade. I don't know what they're on. They're on version, I don't know, 23 or 20 or something like that. I bought one of their latest updates like 4 or 5 years ago. And it seemed to work okay, but it would crash a lot. You'd be working along, and at that time, I wasn't in the habit of saving a lot. So it would freeze up and literally crash. So you'd lose work, and I would lose work. And then it would get to where some days it would crash every few minutes. So I got in the habit of, like, I remapped the key so that I could just click. Every time I'm doing something, I just use my pinky and I hit a save button. Even though I had an autosave, I just got in the habit of save. Where was I going with this? But anyway, it got to where that program was really frustrating because of that. And I wanted to switch 2 years ago. I wanted to switch. This new program that I'm going to now is called DaVinci Resolve. It's by Blackmagic Design. I think it's a far superior program. I've known about it for years. But I've downloaded it several times in the past, and I'm like, man, this learning curve, I am just not. I've got to get this video edited. I don't have time for this learning curve. I should have made time then. Because as of a week ago, I went to edit a video, and my Vegas program, it won't even open. It opens, like, you get that little startup screen, and then it goes to the crash report thing, and that is as far as it'll go. So they kind of forced me into switching. I mean, I'm glad for that. It was frustrating still, but now that's where I'm at. Like, you just have to jump in and you just have to go for it. Norman says, Chat GPT. I'll tell you what, I have used Chat GPT several times to ask questions. I don't trust Chat GPT. It does not give me reliable results. It tells me, you got to go here for this particular setting. Well, that setting doesn't exist, at least not where they're talking about. I can't find any way I just haven't had good results. And I have tried different prompts and different things. Some stuff I think it works great for. But for advice on a program, I think that I can't trust it. I can't rely on it. It doesn't, I don't think it knows really what it thinks it knows. Sam says, I kind of have a mechanical mind when I've had my morning coffee. I also think up ideas outside the box. Yeah, it's funny how that morning coffee really helps. Robin's here. Robin says, hi guys, late as usual. Robin, good morning. Robert says, Norman, I'm with you. Autocorrect catches me as well. Paul says, just be careful with the AI. You know, most of it becomes unofficial public domain. Yep. Based on which AI you use. ChatGPT is very bad about this. Yeah, I know. So you got to be careful with what you're putting in there. Sam says Microsoft also have slightly moved your non-365 full administration rights over to the paid 365. Free edition has limited admin rights now. Yeah, I just don't use it. As soon as they took away my ability to purchase Office, you know, Word, Excel, all that sort of thing, I stopped using it. Reluctantly, because I kind of like, man, everything is kind of coming around. I was very comfortable with Word and Excel, again, using it for years. They made me pay for it, and I actually did once. I paid for like one upgrade or whatever, one subscription. It was like I thought it was just a year, not a yearly, but I thought it was just a one time, you know, you buy it and then now you've got it again. Well, it turned out it was a yearly subscription. And when that year ended, that year was up, I couldn't open any of my documents, or I couldn't do anything in the documents. I can still open them. But I said, the heck with it. I'm not paying the subscription. But yeah, I don't use Microsoft Office. So like all of these subscription plans, I think, are killing the subscription plans. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? That's what I'm afraid is going to happen. It's like all of the streaming services. I think we only have one, and that's going to be taking a hike, I think, here before long. There's so many of them now that in order to have, if you, whatever, I don't know, I don't follow many shows. So it doesn't really matter to me. But if you want this show, you got to have, I don't know, you know, this streaming service. If you want to have this show, you want to have this streaming service. If you want to watch whatever sports game, you got to have this. Well, I think people are getting sick and tired of paying all these subscriptions. Then they keep putting ads, so people cancel. Well, then they lose money. So then the companies have to put more ads and other annoying ways to monetize. And I think that's the same thing what's going on with YouTube right now. Everybody, boy, I hope it doesn't sound like I'm ranting. I'm not trying for that to happen, but I think that's what's happening with all these softwares and stuff like that. I'm going to keep going. My apologies if that sounded like I was going to rant. I wasn't trying to rant. I want to talk about shop stuff. Norman says sometimes you need to use an offline computer for some programs with no internet. Yes. That's how I activate new computers. I do not connect them to the internet. But anyway, all that to say is learning curves. Learning curves are tough, right? Whether it's a new operating system, a new video editing program, a new Word suite of programs, whatever it is. But I'm really, as I get more into DaVinci Resolve, which is, again, my video editor, I'm finding it works so much better than my old one. Although I was very comfortable with the old one, I can already tell that this is going to be a way better program, and it's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. There's like a full-on audio DAW in there. I mean, it's pretty wild, pretty wild. And I can barely edit a video, a simple video. Let alone when I get to this one, making the neck. That's going to be a little more complicated because I got different cameras. I got time lapses, you know, different things, and it's going to be a bit of a challenge. But what do you guys think? Look at this. I want to show you. I think those fretboard markers turned out awesome. once I have rosewood here, I think that just looks super cool. I think that turned out great. A little bit of sanding, you get a little oil on there. Man, that's gonna be awesome. Norman asks, the CNC program you use, is it cloud-based or offline? So the program that runs my actual CNC, that is offline. The 3D modeling program I used is unfortunately cloud-based. I can do the stuff offline. No, it runs locally, but it stores the files in the cloud. It's like a hybrid. I don't know what you'd call that. I can use it if the internet's out. I mean, I get a warning that the internet's out, but they have a subscription model to that too, and that would probably be one program that I would probably pay for because it would be a very reluctant to pay for that program, but I probably would. I'm too far. I'm fully invested in it right now. If they all of a sudden said, nope, you're done, it would suck, but I might consider paying for it. I don't know. Norman says, they look great. I know. I've never done. Thank you, Norman. Never done anything like this before. There's a whole lot of firsts on this entire build. Mike Johnson's here. Says, nicely done, Jeff. Thanks, Mike. Good morning. How are you doing? Yeah, there's a lot of firsts on this entire project, and I'm super excited. Super excited still to get to some of this stuff. I've already started. So the way this program, when I'm 3D modeling this, the way this works is once you get everything done, you can mirror the toolpath to basically create a right-handed one. So this first one's going to be a lefty. I've already mirrored all of the toolpaths, and I've done a test with some scrap, which actually I'm out of now. I'm out of scrap. I've done a test to make a righty. I haven't sanded like the tabs off yet, but yeah, there's a righty. It's fine. I could totally run this now with good material and make a right-handed neck for this build, which I will be at some point. Yeah, it's really getting close. I got to get the body worked out. I think in between my editing today, because I'm going to be spending a fair bit of time editing, working on this video for making this neck. And I'm going to be testing one more body. I got to figure out this deal, why that doesn't fit, and then I'll be ready to start making the body. Robert says, I have a copy of the Adobe Suite that has Illustrator, Photoshop, Acrobat, video editing, a couple other programs I bought before they went to a subscription service. Me too, Robert. For my thumbnails and all that stuff, I still use Adobe CS5. Is it 5 or 6? 4 maybe. I don't remember. Creative Suite 4, 5, 6, whatever it is, before they went subscription. I wish I'd have bought an upgrade to the latest version just before the subscription, but I didn't. I have no problem buying software like that if I can buy it and own it. But I do not want to pay subscription. But yeah, I still use it, and I don't know what I will do when the day comes that it stops working. but for now, I use Adobe, Illustrator occasionally, but mainly Photoshop. I also have Adobe Audition, which is the audio editor, and there's After Effects and like some other kind of cool programs. Not After Effects. What is that? I don't remember what it is, but yeah, I have one of those old ones too. Mike says, I hate your subscriptions. Got a friend who gave me a friends and family discount, but I don't want to pay for this next year. Yes, I'm with you, Mike. I do not like it. From the businesses that are doing it, right, from their perspective, I totally understand. It's recurring income month after month. But man, you're just killing the consumers, right? It's so annoying. Mike says CS5 was the last. And what I have, oh, 5.5. So maybe mine's 4. Norman says, I'm trying to figure out how to code my curves and contours because I don't have a basic design. So when you say code them, what are you talking about, Norman? And we can try to maybe think through that. Are you trying to 3D model? Is that what you're working out? You're trying to model a guitar design? Give me a little more information as to what we're doing here, and we'll talk through it. Robert says the computer I had it installed on died, and I hope I can get my computer running again. Hope I can get it to install again. Yes, that would be cool. Oh, Sam, sorry, I missed. I scooted right over your other comment. It says it's okay. Sometimes people like Jeff start ranting and complaining about the weather. Get off my lawn. He says, really joking about the ranting and weather. It's something we all do. Yeah, but you know what, Sam, though? I try. I, I really do try to make a conscious effort to not do that. And I try to do that on purpose. I try to not complain and rant about stuff. And I just feel that there's no need for it, really. Yes, you're right. It happens from time to time, but it is also something that I do try not to do. I try to keep that positive attitude and look at the bright side kind of thing. But yeah, sometimes you just got to go there. Norman says I had that CS5 last year. Adobe killed it, so I have to use it offline. No internet computer. Interesting. My CS4, I swear it's 4, still works. Interesting. Paul says, I use GIMP for editing and a lot of open source software for most other things. Yes, I'm familiar with GIMP. It's kind of like switching anything else. I have tried it before and I'm like, well, I don't know how to do this. I know how to do this particular thing in Photoshop, but I don't know how to do it in GIMP. So why would I use GIMP when I know how to use it in Photoshop? Well, one day it'll probably come down that I need to learn how to do it in GIMP. Norman says, I'm trying to 3D design it. I'll email you some pictures and maybe that'll make sense. Okay, so that's kind of a tricky part, right? What I tend to do if I'm trying to work out something is I'll draw like a series of arcs. Let's just say if I'm trying to work out, I don't know, if I'm trying to work out shapes like this, I'll draw a series of arcs, but I won't define them. But give them dimensions. And that way you can grab the points and you can move them around and you can kind of look and see how things look together. If you make the curve a little smaller, a little bigger, I'll make sure that everything's concentric and tangent, but you can drag and move them around and just play with different designs. And once you get to a spot where, hey, I kind of like that curve, then I'll give it definition and kind of lock that one in place and then kind of just work from there. But yeah, it's I know what you mean. It's hard to do when you don't have a specific idea and or a specific design. You're just trying to build that idea. I know exactly what you mean. Robert says I've tried GIMP and also Inkscape as well, but a bit clunky. Yeah, I agree with that. And I think a lot of it though may go back to the fact that I don't know how to use it. I think it's all, I think, kind of learning curve. You know what I mean? I am excited for a lot of things right now. I was going to fit that in there, but I'm excited for this guitar build. I'm excited for, using these cool blade pickups. I've never used blade pickups. I'm excited for learning a new video editor. I'm excited to play this guitar. I'm excited for a lot of stuff, and it's kind of cool. There's just a lot of things right now that I'm excited about, and I hope there's things that you guys are excited about. With stuff in life. Doesn't have to be just in the workshop, just in life. You know what I mean? There's some other things that I'll probably share a little bit more later on that are coming down the pipe that I'm excited about. Just a lot of stuff. Sometimes it's overwhelming, but ultimately I'm excited about it. It's going to be cool. It's going to be cool. I'm excited to have this guitar moving forward. Yeah, I just hope you guys, what are you guys excited for? Norman says, I have all my measurements from my number one as there's so many curves. Well, there you go. Robert says, Inkscape is kind of like Illustrator. I've heard of that. Robert says, learning different software on your own without tutorials is more than just difficult. Yes. Yeah, it's rough. It's rough. Sam says, everyone using GIMPs? The software, GIMP. Sam. RA Creative Woodwork says spring. Oh, yes, good one. I'm excited for that too. Reeks, speaking of overwhelming, any advice how to pick a rosette? I'm stuck staring at this top. That's another one, right? There's so many options. I've done 2 different styles so far, so I haven't done like a ton. I've done, my first one was literally just spalted maple rosette cut out of a piece of spalted maple, just flat, no joints. It's just one solid piece. It looks great. In my opinion, I did a little bit of purfling around it. My second one, I did a radial rosette, where you cut like kind of the sort of triangle type shape and you glue them all together. That looks super cool. I don't know what the next one will be. I guess I don't know how to tell you. I can't tell you which one to choose. What I like to do is look at what other accents are you going to put on the piece. What are you going to use for a head plate, on the headstock? What are you going to use for the end wedge? What are you going to use for the binding? And I try to find what are you going to use for the heel cap. In my opinion, I want the end wedge, the heel cap, and the head plate at least to match. And if I can make the rosette somehow match that as well, whether it's in species or color or design, I would incorporate aspects like that. So my first build, I did spalted maple rosette. I also did a spalted maple end wedge, spalted maple heel cap, spalted maple head plate. All just flat, just took a board of spalted maple, cut out the pieces from that. I think it brings that continuity in there, and I think it looks really good. The second one I used elm, which oddly enough is this right here. I did just a plain elm end wedge. Did I book match that? I think I book matched it. Had a piece with kind of an interesting grain. Elm end wedge. I did an elm heel cap, elm head plate, and I did a elm radial rosette. So it all kind of went together. And that's what I would suggest. Something like that. Robert says, I did my thumbs up. Have you? Hit that thumbs up button. What do they say? What do those other people say? Smash the like button? I don't know why they say smash it. Don't smash it. Just press it. Click. Reek says, answering those questions to me is harder than building the guitar. I agree with that. I agree. I spend a ridiculous amount of time answering those questions. Well, what do I want to do? Okay, if I use this for the head plate, well then how do I tie that all into everything else? Okay, well then what do I do for the rosette? Do I do just a flat rosette? Well, that's maybe that's not as interesting with this particular wood. So okay, let's do a radial rosette. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. And I just start looking at the broader picture, right, and narrowing it down from there. I'm going to use that elm for an example. I did an end wedge with maple purfling. No, it wasn't maple purfling. What did I use for purfling? Because it was maple sides on the I can't remember what I used. Maybe I didn't use purfling on that. Anyway, it doesn't matter. The end wedge, I think I book matched it with a little piece of interesting grain. The heel cap, of course, is just a small little chunk. The head plate was just, a piece of flat, I don't know what the word is. But for the rosette, I thought, well, I didn't have any piece with a super interesting grain. So that's why I decided, I wanted to use elm for the rosette to get that continuity. But I didn't have anything visually that I thought was cool enough. That's why I did the radial, because the radial looks super cool. And, it's just stuff like that. Figure out what you want to use for the head plate and all that, and then figure out how you want to accentuate that with the rosette would be my suggestion. Just my 2 cents. RA Creative Woodwork says, yes, I did. I don't play, but it's cool stuff to learn. Right on. Norman says, I use a lot of mahogany, and just doing everything without CNC just comes more natural, as I can bust out a neck in a few hours after all the gluing. Norman, I agree with that. This whole process, right? Now, I have done a lot of builds without the CNC. But to be absolutely honest, that's why I bought a CNC, because I want to be able to do this. That's why I bought it. I wanted to be able to design my guitars and have the machine cut out those guitars. And really, that's where we're at. But if I just, aside from cutting these multi-scale frets, I have no idea how I would do that by hand. Honestly, I have no idea. I would probably do straight frets. But I could have had this done a month ago. And I'm not kidding. I could have built this thing and been onto something else if I did it by hand outside of the CNC. But my goal is to get this all finalized. I mean, down to like everything. So that in the future, if I want to build one of these, the files are already there. I can just, boom, make one. That is my goal. I want to have everything fine-tuned as much as possible. I was just talking to a friend of mine about this yesterday. That's just my personal goal. I'm not saying you got to use a CNC. I'm not harping on them. I'm not, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. I use one, but I totally get the hand building thing. Some people are like, oh, CNC, I don't want to watch that. That's fine. I feel confident that I've done plenty of builds by hand, and I want to. It gives me an opportunity to learn something new as well. I know what you mean. Yep, you can make it. You can have it done. I will say this neck right here, to get it to this point, took 1 day. I started it in the morning, did the first round of cuts, glued on the fretboard, did the last round of cuts, and it's 1 day. It's slotted, it's carved, it's not sanded or final shaped, but that's 1 day, 1 day's work. And this is about a half day, and I can probably shave that off a little bit. Sam says, I'm looking at getting EU tools. Due to current circumstances, I'm steering clear of US products. That's all I can say without actually saying, I know what you mean. Yeah. And there's some good ones in the EU. The Knipex? Knipex? What are they? Those are Germany, aren't they? Yeah, Germany. Yeah, and those are like probably my favorites. Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff. I don't think you'll have any issues. RA Creative Woodwork says, where do you get your parts from? Well, it depends on what part. You're talking about guitar parts? I get them from literally wherever I can find them. There's a couple of guitar part suppliers that I order from, All Parts, a handful of other ones. But if they don't have it, I'll get it wherever I can. These pickups came directly from Seymour Duncan. The bridge here came directly from Hipshot. Some other stuff came from All Parts. Some other stuff. I try to avoid ordering from Amazon, but sometimes I'll order from there if I can't find it anywhere else. But truss rods, carbon fiber rods, I get from Bitterroot Guitars. It just wherever I can find them at the best deal. Really, I do price shop, but I already know what I want, so then I try to just see, where can I get free shipping? Where can I get it a little bit cheaper? Can I get it cheaper anywhere? A lot of times the answer is no. These came directly from Seymour Duncan. Do I get a discount? Nope. I pay full retail. Hipshot, full retail. It just depends on what I'm after and, where I can find it the best deal or the quickest shipping sometimes is the thing. Stu Mac, I order from them on occasion. Their shipping is really expensive, but if they got something I need right away, I can't find anywhere else, I'll order it. Robert says, Daisy Tempest used antique paper in her rosette on her guitars. I saw that one. She still cuts a groove, set it in below the surface. Paper is thicker like a watercolor type paper. Yes, I remember that. Yep. Reek says, I found out recently that there is spruce in old pianos and people give them away all the time. Spruce soundboard in there. Yeah, yes. Yep, spruce soundboards. Norman says, that's why I bought mine as well, but yet to turn it on and had it almost a year now. Yeah, there's a learning curve. I will never deny that. You've got to learn how to, there's a couple learning curves, I would say, at least two. The biggest one is designing, right? You got to learn how to design all this stuff. So you got to learn that 3D design software. The second learning curve is actually running the machine, feeds, speeds, all setup, all of that sort of thing is sort of a whole nother thing. One thing that I really, really enjoy, quite honestly, is learning stuff. I love learning new things. Is it frustrating? Yes. Is it frustrating still to learn, working on issues with this? Yes, absolutely. Like this right here. I don't know why that happened. All I did was angled the neck pocket. And now I got weird something happening. I don't know what's going on, but I got to figure it out. That's frustrating. But yeah, I love learning new things. I'm excited that I get to learn a new video editing software. Is it frustrating? Yep. But I love learning new stuff. But yeah, there's absolutely a learning curve. But I would say if you want to get into it, you got to just start somewhere. Start somewhere small. Learn how to cut out a little square. Or a little circle, or cut out some small thing. You got to start on something. Was the guitar the first thing I cut out on my machine? No, not at all. You just gotta go for it. Oh, I'm just noticing something else on this one. I got a little nick right there from the bit somehow. I'm gonna have to see about fixing that. Something in my program nicked it. RA says to use Vectric. I have used Vectric. Do I have Vectric? Is that VCarve? I think it is. I think I have it. I've used it before, but I don't. I do all my stuff comes out of Fusion. And all my G code, everything is all Fusion. Sam says, you can make a wooden keytar. Yeah, keytar would be cool. You get like some thrift store synth or something and just put it in a wooden frame. That'd be kind of cool. Robert says, have you tried solo guitars? I have not. I've heard of them, but I've not tried them. Norman says, if you have a membership with Stu Mac, it's free shipping, but they're spendy. Yes, agreed. The last time I ordered something, somehow I got free Stu Mac's membership. I got a free membership, so I have free shipping for a year. I don't even know how I got it for free. It just showed up and I'm like, I even did a double take. Really? Free? Okay, I'll take it. But I noticed that even they, okay, have added tiers to their membership, their subscription, basically, right? Just like everybody, just like all the streaming services and everything. So it used to be free shipping. You paid the membership, was like $30 or $40 or something for the year, and you got free shipping. Well, now I got it for free, and I got free 2-day shipping, I think, or 3-day shipping. I don't remember what it was. But if you wanted free next day shipping, then you had to pay, their 20, 30, 40 bucks or whatever. I'm like, really? You guys are adding tiers as well? You can't get away from it. But yes, RA Creative says, I have CNC. Software is the key. Yes. Yep. Norman says, I know if I pull it in with a 2D drawing, I have a better chance, as I have heard. I can see where you're going with that. I don't like doing that. I've found because I have run into, so I have designed things in Illustrator, Adobe Illustrator, right? We just talked about that. I've exported it, saved the drawing as a of like a vector file, right? Is it vector? Yeah. I forget the format though, what it's called. But anyway, I've saved it out of Illustrator, imported it into Fusion, and I have had issues with the size. So what I would say to do that, in your design, put something that you can measure, whether it's a 1x1 square or a 3x3, some sort of design element that you can measure when you pull it into whatever design software you use. That way you can verify that is the exact same size. I don't know why I've run into scaling issues. It's very strange. It's probably a user error, but that's just something that I've run into. I'm not trying to scare you or anything. I'm just saying, hey, that's something to look out for because I've experienced it. But yes, if you're comfortable drawing it 2D, AutoCAD, Illustrator, anything like that, pull it into your 3D software. Yeah, you're already well on your way to being to having a good drawing. Robert says, I've not seen them lately, but there used to be a guitar kit company in Australia that had some nice kits that were pretty good. The name of the company is called Pitbull. Yes, I've heard of Pitbull, but I haven't heard of them lately. I don't know if they've gone out of business or what. Sam says, perhaps make Gina a working electric guitar broomstick. Anything that's possible. She'd probably smack me with it. I don't think we're going to go there, Sam. She would slug me with the broomstick. What are you trying to say? Mike says SVG. Yes, that's it. Thank you, Mike. That's exactly what I was trying to think of. Yes, thank you for that. Yeah, I have had an issue with the size not being quite right, and I don't know why. Sam, lol. You want me to get beat up? I don't need that. I don't need that, Sam. Anyway, I cannot figure out for the life of me. I keep pondering this. Why this has changed. I don't think it's the bit radius, but that's the only thing that comes to mind. It's an 1/8 inch radius. I'm using a 1/4 inch bit. It should be the same. I don't know. We're gonna check it out. But anyway, once we get done here, like I said, I'm gonna get back to trying to learn my editing. But I got to do a couple repairs on this. Not repairs, but couple mods. You know what I didn't check yet? Oh, since I angled that, I'm lining up the bridge. I got to move that pickup cavity up. Huh. I'll be darned. Well, I'm glad I did check that now. That's why we do tests. At least that's why I do tests. I've seen people go right to a new design, right to their material. I'm like, how do you know that everything's going to work? I guess maybe I think too much about that stuff, and I want to make sure it's right. But yeah, interesting. Oh, let's see. Norman says, I was just going to scan my drawing as I don't do those on the computer as I'm old school. Oh, okay. So you're drawing it on paper. I gotcha. Yeah. Um, and then you're gonna recreate it. Okay. All right. Here's what I do for something kind of like that. And I've done this on a few instruments. I will take, like, if there's a design. Well, no, I did it with this. Not a scan, but I took one of my existing guitars, one of my built by hand, right? No CNC, pre-CNC Dorians, and one of mine that I built that works fine. It's one of my favorite guitars, and I took pictures of it. I hung it. I have it hanging on the wall, and I set up the camera. I've turned on the grid for the display so that everything's straight, and I tried to get it as straight on as possible, right? So it's not looking down. You're not getting that perspective. And I took pictures of it. With a ruler, right? I took a I think 18-inch ruler, and I taped it to the wall right next to this guitar. Or maybe I taped it right to the guitar, so it was at the same plane. I think that's what I did. And I took pictures of it. Then I took those pictures. Now I'm thinking this is something you might be able to do with yours, right? So you've drawn it out on paper, very similar to my pictures of the guitar. You scan in your drawing, but when I took my pictures with the ruler, that allowed me to go into the 3D design software and say, okay, this ruler is 18 inches long. So you need to scale it so that it's 18 inches long, or whatever the dimension was. I think in your drawing, you need to have a dimension in there that will allow you to scale. Now, I don't know all of the different design softwares, but I imagine that there's something similar in pretty much all of them, to where you can import a drawing, a picture, import a file, and scale it to a certain size. But you need to have something in your drawing that you know the dimension of. I mean, I don't care. I like to have it be as big as possible. But I mean, the width of a neck at a certain location, so then you could scale it, right? Which will then get it roughly to size, and then you can draw for that. But being able to adjust it, I think, is important. But you got to have a known dimension in your drawing. But yeah, there's no reason you can't draw it out, get it exactly the way you want it, scan it, and then import it, and basically redraw it. Robert says Pitbull's website is still active. Just checked. Interesting. Look who's here. Hey, dude. Says, what's up? Just made it. How are we all? Hey, dude. We're good. How are you? Right on. Sam says, who wears the pants, Jeff? I got pants on right now. See? Sam says, hey, dude. Hello. Hey, dude. Hey, Sam. Sam says, rule or a ruler? I don't remember which one it is, Sam. Norman says, I have photos as well and heard you can just pull it into Fusion and formulate it. Yes, you can. It's called Canvas. You would import it as a canvas. And that's what I did to draw this body. Like I said, I took those pictures with the ruler, imported it as a canvas, scaled the canvas to roughly the right size, and then I just used that as an outline to draw this. I wasn't 100% worried about hitting it exact, because you do get a little bit of perspective shift in the picture, but I used it as a guideline to get that shape, and it works awesome. I've done that for several guitars. Well, not just guitars. I've done it for quite a few things, actually. Take a picture, scale it, redraw it. It works really, really well. Sam says, I'm watching the stream on my TV. Right on. Mike says, really old school. Draw a grid over the drawing and then digitize it. Then curve fit on the software. Yeah, that's an idea too. I like that. Yeah. Hey, dude, since you just got here, look, we got a neck. It's a backwards lefty neck, but it's an actual neck. The actual neck is together. Haven't sanded it or anything yet. This is literally, well, the only thing I did was I took a little bit of sandpaper and knocked the tabs off. Tiny bit oversized here, but this is right off the machine. Fret slots, nut slot, fretboard marker, everything. This is real. It's got a truss rod. It's got the carbon fiber rods. Super cool. Sam says, your pants are not UK pants. Pants in the UK refer to underpants. Your pants are trousers or jeans in the UK. But yeah, I know what you mean. Harry Dude says, if your phone has a LiDAR sensor, you can 3D scan it with various apps and bring it into the CAD software. Oh, yeah, that's right. You can. Yeah, you can scan it to like several different files. I don't know if mine does that or not. Maybe it does. Yeah, I can't speak on that one. I know it is a thing that you can do. I just have not done it. Alrighty, let's see. I'm not looking forward to going, well, I sort of am. I wouldn't say looking forward to going back and working on that video edit, but I am because I get to learn new stuff. Let's see. Norman says, have a great morning, day, everyone. I'm going to get some work done. And I'll look into the LiDAR. Oh, yeah, check it out. Robert says, having a known scale item in the drawing or photo that you can check once imported is important to ensure it's the same scale you want it to be. Yes, very, very important. And try to get the picture as straight on as you can. Any sort of, angle, you get a little bit of perspective shift. I saw it on this when I was drawing it. The guitar is hanging flat on the wall. I put the camera on a tripod. I even stood back and, I tried to look at everything. I had the grid on. There was still a tiny bit of perspective shift. So it is a thing. Here dude says, neck looks good, dude. Right on. Thank you. I'm stoked. I'm super excited. Super excited. I'm working on the body. This is the latest body with the angled pickups. I'm noticing there's a few things that I got to fix and maybe one more test body and we'll be ready to cut that as well. So we're moving along. It just takes time because, like I mentioned earlier, I like to test everything. I don't want to just jump in and go for it. Even on this one right here, unfortunately, I broke a bit. This is pretty brand new. It's actually still really, really sharp. But I had something wrong. Right at the end, the final cutout, I broke a bit. So I gotta adjust some speeds on that. It happens. This is like the 4th bit now that I've broke working on this design as I fine-tune speeds and feeds and operations and all that. Oh well. Sam says Americans cannot talk American without talking English. You're right. Norman says, thanks for all the helpful information. Ciao. Right on, Norman. Have an awesome day. I'm going to get rolling here too in just a minute. Get back to work. Heritage says, I'd try printing grid patterns and place them on the body in various points and take photos. Oh, yeah. You should see the perspective shift and account for it. That's true. You put it right on the body. Yeah, that's a good idea. I thought I had it pretty good. And really, honestly, it was very close. But once I pulled that picture in and started drawing over top of it, right, to work on this shape, I couldn't figure out why some of the curves were off. And you could start to see, that it truly was a perspective shift, even though everything was what I thought was dead on. you still get it because that camera's looking out like this, right? So there's only one spot where it's truly, in my opinion, truly going to be straight on. Robert says, Norman, have a good one. Right on. Yeah, guys, I'm gonna get out of here too. I think we're gonna wrap this up. I got to get back to work. I'm on this long bumpy road of learning how to re-edit videos again with this new software, and I'm gonna try. I'm editing the video right here, this one. I don't know, like I said, if it's gonna be out this weekend or not. If it does, cool. If not, it'll come out the following weekend. But we're getting back on track, getting things rolling, and yeah. We'll see how this works because it's a slow process for me right now. It won't always be, but right now it's really slow. So we'll get there. We will get there. But anyway, you guys, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you. Thanks for taking some time out of your day to hang out here at Home Built Workshop and to chat. As always, love the conversation. And yeah, I definitely appreciate all of you. Sam says, thanks for the fantastic stream. Perhaps a wood burning design guitar. I've got some ideas on that. I do. Maybe I'll do one of these. We'll get to that. Yeah, I got some ideas, Sam. Let me get this fine-tuned first. Robert says, everyone stay safe and healthy. Have a great one. Right on. Thank you, Robert. Harry Dude says, cheers, folks. Hope to get in earlier one day. Soon, Harry Dude, we will hit daylight savings again, and maybe our times will align a little bit more. But I'm glad you made it in. That's awesome. That's awesome. So, you guys, with that, I'm going to get out of here. Get back to work, editing, fine-tuning some 3D models, CAD, G-code, all that stuff. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate all of you. Have an awesome week. I hope you get to spend some time outside working on some projects and, just doing something that you enjoy doing. So thanks again, everybody. We'll see you next time. Take care. I appreciate you. Hey, I hit the end button and didn't end. Take care, everybody. Thanks. We're out of here.